Hi everybody. This is just a quick one to answer a couple of questions that I got in the feedback when I posted on the forums of what sort of camera to get for the bike. A few people said, just go out and ride, don't worry about it. And it's been bugging me for a while. I just wanted to explain why I wanted to do all this. As you can see, I've been around for a while. I turned 65 this year, and when I was growing up, it was a totally different world. For example, my father had 4 weeks annual leave. We went down to Victor Harbour for those 4 weeks, left the day that he stopped and then came back the Sunday before we had to start work again. But for those 4 weeks, we had no communication. There was no phone down there. We got the paper delivered, but there was no postage. And in those days, there was no email. Smartphones didn't exist. Mobile phones didn't exist. So no electronic communication whatsoever. So at the end of the 4 weeks, when we got back home again, it was only then that I could go to see a friend or two and say, hey, what have you been doing over Christmas? What did you get? So it was 4 weeks of just total lack of communication. And this is just down at Victor Harbour. Now it's a day trip or half a day trip to go back there and back again. So the kids these days, they wouldn't cope. I don't think they would cope at all. Now, the reason I said for that was that it was a different time. It was sociologically a different time. What we did to amuse ourselves, what we did for fun, it wasn't no chatting on the internet. If we wanted to chat to somebody, you had to do it face to face. To record what we did, yeah, we had cameras. And even back then, talking about the late 50s, late 1950s, I'm talking about, it was not everybody had a camera. Now, my father was an avid photographer, and he was always taking photographs of barbecues and holidays. And so I've got lots of photographs of where we went on holidays and what we did, but not too many of him because he was always behind the camera. Then, as it stage got a little bit later, he got a video camera, and this was a Super 8 video camera. And if you're not sure what that is, then Google it. Use the technology of the day and find out what it is. But a Super 8 movie camera was that you bought little cartridges of Super 8 film, and the name gives it away. The film was 8mm wide, and it was a 3-minute cartridge that you put into the camera, and I think I even have that camera around somewhere. I definitely know I've got the projector in the shed, but I think I've still got the camera as well. But for 3 minutes, you had to be really time sensitive of what am I going to take a photograph of, what am I going to video. And it was at the barbecues, everybody got together, and while they're standing, cuddling, holding each other, like relatives and cousins and so on, you took your 3-minute video. At the end of the 3 minutes, you took it out. It came with a pre-postage bag. It had to be sent back to Kodak, and about 1 to 2 weeks later, you got this film in a little reel that you could then play the video, the film. So no instantaneous, but 3 minutes. You just couldn't put the camera on and let it run and record odd conversations. For photographs, colour photographs, and even black and white, unless you had your own little dark room at home, it was the Kodak slide film. The popular one was called Kodachrome, and again, that came with a prepaid packet that you took either 12, 24, 36 photographs, take it out of the camera, put it into the bag, post it off, and that actually had to be sent over to Melbourne at Kodak to get processed. And again, 1 to 2 weeks later, you get back, and then you can put the slides into a slide projector and see your photographs. Blurry, not blurry, overexposed, underexposed, you wouldn't know. The Super 8 film, though, was silent. There was no audio track on it. That was the next version up, more expensive, and Dad never did anything about that. So I'm doing all this recording for a few selfish reasons. One is that my parents died over 30 years ago now. Mother killed in a car accident, and smoking, 30 years of smoking, caught up with my father within a year and a half after that. And I reckon it wasn't the smoking that killed him, but he just died of a broken heart. He just missed his wife too much. But they died too early in my life, and I know it would have been totally different had they been around for another 30-something years. I didn't have to worry about them getting old and where are they going to go. How can they look after themselves? That was just all taken away from me. But I've got photographs of Mum and Dad, but I don't have anything of them talking. I can kind of remember what they're like, but I don't have it. My children, my youngest was only 2 when the grandparents passed away, so he's got no memory of them whatsoever. And even my oldest girl, she says, I've forgotten what he looks like and what Grandma looked like. But every day I know that I can hear them kind of, but I just can't hear their voices, the tone of their voice. And I didn't want that to happen to my kids. Yes, we've got some videos of birthdays and little gatherings, but I've got no videos of what my parents did just being themselves. Not being parents, but just being themselves. If they're out on the golf course having a bit of a joke or having a barbecue, having fun and eating and just talking about nothing in particular. Just being themselves. And I don't have any of that because the technology of the time just wasn't there. And so this activity is something that I'm doing, not with my kids, but it's just me being me. And while it's fun doing all this, I can spend a bit of time getting the audio and video right and posting it all up. If nobody really watches it, it'd be nice if people did, but I know that it's going to be there for them to have a look at. Now my oldest granddaughter's only 4, and it would be nice to know that when she gets my age, that, and so another 60 years, that she can look back and think, hey, there was Grandpa. Yeah, that's what he sounded like. She's got something to hold on to, something to remember, something that I don't have of my parents. It's a big loss. So perhaps I could suggest to everybody, we've got the technology of the time. Make sure that, especially if you're getting older like I am, make sure that your kids and your grandchildren have something to keep of you, something to show them of what you are. That not just when you're at a party, sort of cuddles with the grandkids and photographs with the children and aunts and uncles and all the rest, but just being you, doing your stuff. To let them know that this is what you did for fun, what you did for enjoyment, what you did when you weren't around them. And so while it's there to document my journey, it's also important for me to document my journey so that my kids can hear what I say, hear what I sound like, and they won't be in my situation that in another 30, 40, 50 years when they get really old, yeah, there's a photograph of Dad, but they won't be able to remember what I sounded like. My grandmother died when I was 17. My father's father, he died when I was 6. I've got no idea what he sounded like. I don't know what he did for fun, for enjoyment. Did he have a sense of humour? Did he like going for rides in the car, bushwalking, down the beach? I don't know, because I've got photographs, but no video evidence of what he did. It's just a fact of the time, the fact of that the technology wasn't there to record things that happened. So I'm being selfish, I suppose. I want to make sure that I'm recorded somehow so that my kids can remember that. So a good time to be alive, I suppose. My kids and my grandkids especially, they would die if they went back into my years of growing up where a TV that didn't have television, like a house that didn't have television. Radio, you had AM radio. FM wasn't invented. TV, black and white, not colour. Little square, 13-inch tubes. So I'll keep recording, I'll keep talking. they'll be able to hear my voice. And the one bad thing about doing all this is that I've got to listen to myself as well, and I can't believe how bad I sound when I listen to myself. I sound so different inside my head than I do out loud, so yeah. All right, that's all. That's the only reason this is for, just to let you know why I'm doing it, and am enjoying my ride as well as doing this. So ride safe. I'll see you on my journeys. Bye.